I really just saw myself as a child through them, and the main thing I didn't want them to have to experience was anything that I went through.
Real Talk is a platform bringing together people from various backgrounds to share their life stories. And later this month, speakers from around the country will gather in Rotorua for the event. One of them is Constance Ready. She escaped Gloriavale at the age of 23, her brave actions encouraging some of her siblings to also flee for freedom. Ready hopes by sharing her story, she will give others the power to share theirs.
I think there's so much power in people sharing their stories. There can be there is a lot of disconnection between whānau, friends, cultural disconnection, family value disconnection, and I think it's just really important to be sharing our stories. It bridges that space of disconnection, that we can give power to others by sharing the experiences that we've been through. And then in regards to the Real Talk kaupapa, I think it's really important to highlight, especially for our rangatahi, that it doesn't matter where you've come from, what you've lived through, what experiences you've kind of had in your life. You still get to decide what quality of life you want to have. You still get to decide who you want to be and what you want to create, and your past experiences and the life that you live, they don't define who you are.
MC and rangatahi coach Ariana Grant says Real Talk is a safe space for people from all walks of life to share their very personal stories.
Many of them are Māori as well, and so it's bringing light to really shifting perspectives about tangata Māori, and also really allowing them to see that there are challenges that we are going to face in life, and that we have the ability to be able to persist and be resilient, but to also allow ourselves to perceive these challenges as something that is enabling us to become closer to who we need to be, enabling us to fulfill our purpose and to find peace in the things that maybe caused a lot of strife in our lives. And when we're able to do that, that's where we can help others heal. When someone sees or hears a story that resonates for them, or that speaks to their heart, speaks to their mauri, then that gives them the perspective that maybe that means that I can heal, and maybe that means that I have a purpose and that I can do big things in this world. And I think that that's the beautiful thing about the essence of Real Talk.
It's been almost 6 years since Ready left Gloriavale. Now a mother of two, she will share how her children have aided in her healing.
Thinking about the amount of damage that there was to unpack in my life and my childhood experiences until my own babies came along, I really just saw myself as a child through them, and the main thing I didn't want them to have to experience was anything that I went through, and the emotional harm that I experienced as a child. I wanted to make sure that I was aware of who I was as a parent, so that I wasn't inflicting harm, like not knowingly, of course, like on my children. I didn't want them to be at the age I was, as a 24-year-old, and trying to figure out, how do I cope with big emotions? How do I process the trauma triggers that I have? How do I work through this as an adult? I wanted to be able to teach them from really young how to work through those things, and that it was good. It was, there was nothing wrong with feeling the whole spectrum of feelings. You didn't have to suppress anything that you felt. You didn't have to pretend that you were good when you weren't, that it was okay to be themselves fully, but a lot of how they were really triggered my own wounds. And so that really started me on the journey of, I need to discover who I am. I need to realise where the basis of my hurt lays, so that I'm not projecting things onto my children and I'm not damaging them in the same way that I was damaged. The cycle breaks here with me. We're not going to keep perpetuating the things that have happened in my life.
Ready says she wants to encourage other young people dealing with abuse to not be afraid to speak up.
The common conversation that is normally in those kinds of environments for people, for the victims, for those who have suffered, is that, oh, it wasn't that bad, and or this person went through it, or your auntie had that happen to them, or your sister had, and they try to put all these other stories, on you, that you feel like, well, nobody else said anything, nobody else stood up, everyone else kind of just got on with their lives. Don't let the voices of those around you silence your own. Really believe in yourself and that your voice is worth being heard. It's worth being listened to. You are worth being listened to. Don't allow other people to take away from your experiences. You lived them, you experienced them, you know the pain, you know what you suffered. Really trust yourself. Listen to those little voices. They are the guiding voices of our tipuna, telling you what you need to do. I think that is the space of having the most courage, when you're surrounded in an environment that everyone wants to shush you, silence you, normalize the abuse or whatever it is that you've experienced. It's having that courage to be like, no, I know what happened to me, I know what I've lived through, and I'm not going to let all this other noise around me take away from these experiences.
And while Real Talk undoubtedly deals with some heavy topics, its key focus is bringing people together for positive outcomes.
Although the topics that are going to be shared may feel heavy, and although they are kind of things that can be quite confronting, what I hope to bring to this kaupapa is some lightness as well, and to create a space where we can smile and we can really feel comforted and feel that sense of, as I say, that sense of belonging. So it doesn't have to be seen as a kaupapa that's sort of like, oh, that's real serious. They are serious topics, but we also get to have fun and we get to really enjoy each other's company, share kai together and meet some incredible people, because connection is really what this is about as well.
The event will be held at the Holiday Inn on May 14, Delilah Whaitiri, Local Focus.